Awesome. Okay, so preview. There we go. Okay, perfect. And it's recording. Very good. Okay, so in today's session, we are going to be covering Craigslist. And in my first month in business, I was ended up doing 11 rentals, which a lot of people are like, rentals stink. They're a lot of work. They're a fraction of the pay and three times the paperwork, which is true. But I did do 11 in my first month, and I looked at that like I was getting paid to prospect and I was growing my database. But on top of the 11 I did, I also ended up getting 28 regular purchase and sales done through Craigslist in 1 year. So in my very first year of business, I ended up getting 28 of my deals that weren't rentals, and I mean a traditional purchase or sale. They came directly from classified advertising and me prospecting with it. So I'm going to show you guys how you can do all of that, and it's totally for free. And this approach still works today. So I'm not talking about you posting on Craigslist, which you can and you should because it's free as well. But more importantly, I'm going to show you how I used it as a prospecting method. Now, it doesn't have to only be Craigslist. I mean, this whole approach that I'm about to share with you works with your local newspapers. It works with other classified advertising websites and community forums. So today, I'm just going to use the Craigslist platform to show you how I would source my contacts. But you can use any website that works for you in your local community. Now, to get started, I would come into the office and I would grab a blank sheet of paper and I would draw a grid on it, and I wouldn't leave the office until I had 12 conversations that day. So I would have a blank piece of paper, and I had to either follow up with 12 people or prospect 12 cold people that I haven't talked to yet. As long as I had a real estate related conversation with 12 different people, I was happy. Now, being a new guy in the business, I didn't have an abundant number of leads coming into me, so I had to be more proactive and reach out to people. And one of the hardest things with prospecting is creating the list of who are you going to call next. So with the classified advertising, it gave me a fresh list every day, so I'm going to share with you how I would put together that list. And when I first started, 2007, I was really young. I felt really uncomfortable dealing with people that our average sale price at that time was 300,000. Now the average is more like 6 or 700,000. And I didn't feel comfortable running around with contracts and not knowing exactly what I was doing. So I just got into the game of generating leads and then firing them off to other agents on a referral. And I knew at the beginning that I had to grow my database. So I used classified advertising as a way to reach out to people, have conversations, and get them added to my database. I looked at it like I was getting paid to prospect and I was getting paid to learn the business, because they are right. It is for the rental side, anyways. It is a fraction of the pay and three times the paperwork. But I was like, hey, I'm getting paid to learn three times the amount of paperwork. It's just making me sharper. And I leveraged my time, not my money. So nowadays I leverage my money, where I spend most of my marketing efforts is done through paid promotions, because it's better for my time and I'd rather leverage the money. But at the beginning stages, I didn't have any money to leverage, so the benefit was I had plenty of free time. So every day I would just get on the phone and I would not leave until I had those 12 conversations. Now, getting started, I would draw the grid on my piece of paper. Then I would head on over to the classified website. In today's example, I'm going to use Craigslist. And if you go to Craigslist, I want to show you exactly how I got these numbers, but I just did a search and it showed me for all the real estate for sale by owners, there's 730 potential for sale by owners in my local area. So I would then open up each ad and I would call the people with a script on the right. So I would call the person up and I'd say, hey, I noticed you have a home for sale on Craigslist. Is it still available? And I would pause and let them answer, and I'd repeat their answer. And I'd say, hey, well, that's great. I'm a real estate agent, but unlike all the other agents who are calling to get the listing, I'm actually calling to see if I could help with the buying end. See, as a buyer agent, you don't pay my fees, and I could help you with the window shopping. It's easy. Now, if you were to move, what area would you move to? I'd like to set you up on a daily alert so you don't miss out. And I would pause and let them answer. So a lot of for sale by owners who have their home listed for sale, they need to buy something for the most part, a lot of them. So I was going after them on the buying end. Um, and because it was a totally different approach than what the other real estate agents were taking, I didn't have to have a tool bag full of objection handling. It was a pretty easy conversation. As a buyer agent, they didn't have to pay my fees. So there's just a whole bunch of bonuses and reasons for why I would reach out to these people. And while I got them on the phone, obviously I would help them out with their listing as well, but I wouldn't start off the conversation with that. I always started off with the buying side, and if I couldn't help them with the buying, then I would see if I could give them a second opinion on the value of their current list price. Because if they haven't sold it yet, well, maybe that reflects the list price. So it's a conversation starter, and that's my basic conversation. On the classified websites, I found there is actually 6 areas that we could get business from. The home buyers, people that are posting ads that are looking for a home to purchase. The for sale by owners, those are the people who are selling their own home on their own without a real estate agent. I would also contact the landlords who are looking to sell their property or looking to lease out their property, and we could handle both. And also the tenants who are either looking to rent a property, and I could try and convert them into tenants that are looking to buy a property if I could show them homes that carried for the same monthly cost as what they're looking to rent. So those are like the 6 main areas that I would leverage the classified ads. And all of the members on the call, our group coaching members, they're going to get all of these scripts. I type them all out in a Word document. So there's actually 2 scripts, the one that I call with, and if the person doesn't have their phone number on the ad, I will email them or message them, either way. And I typed out 2 different versions for each of the scripts. So one is a calling script, the other one is the email script. Now I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Next Era Law Group for sponsoring today's upload. So in a second, we'll watch a video for these guys. But for everybody on the live call, I want to actually go into Craigslist and we'll do it live.
Our goal is to do things that no other law firm has ever done before.
Our technology brings the future to you today.
We're the next era in the way legal transactions are handled.
So let me head over to Craigslist. Okay, so I'm going to go to Craigslist. You can go to whatever your classified website is in your local area. For me, I want to use Craigslist because most of the people on the call, this works for them. Obviously, last time I used San Francisco as an example. Today I'm actually going to use my area, which is Toronto, but this approach will work right across the United States and Canada. So I'm going to click on Toronto. And then right over here, I want to go for sale, real estate for sale. And there's these drop downs along the top. So I have all of Toronto under housing, and there's a drop down, and I want to do by owner. So you'll see the number right now is 697. So there's 697 people that I could potentially pick up the phone and call them to see if I could help them on the selling their home. Now I can tell that's probably a real estate agent. They just posted a bunch. So you kind of have to use your sniff test to tell if they're a real estate agent or not. Let me find one. I want to actually put a price. So right now we have 697 listings. I want to put a minimum price of 100,000. The reason I'm putting 100,000, I mean nothing's selling for 100,000 in our area, but I want to put 100,000 to scrub out all the ones that don't have a list price. So we got it down to 383 listings. Perfect. Okay, so here's one private home for sale. I'll open that in a new tab. And this looks pretty legit. This does not look like a real estate agent. First of all, they don't have any of their real estate information down at the bottom. And in our area, a lot of the real estate agents, what they do is they just copy and paste directly from the MLS because they already typed out the description. So in our area, our MLS capitalizes the first letter of every word. So if there was one big block of text and it was all capitalized, that's a clear indication to me, probably a real estate agent. But this person does not look like a real estate agent. So I would scroll down and look for their phone number, and they don't have one. Because they don't have a phone number, I'm going to hit the reply button, and well, I'll hit reply, and then I would email them at that. So Craigslist is going to ask you to copy and paste, so I would copy this, open it up in Gmail, and paste it. Then I would go to my scripts. So if they did answer the phone, this is the basic script I would call. I'd say, hey, I noticed you have, let me zoom in. I'd say, hey, I noticed you have a home for sale on Craigslist. Is it still available? Pause and let them answer. I'm a real estate agent, but unlike all the other agents calling to get the listing, I'm actually calling to see if I could help with the buying end. See, as a buyer agent, you don't pay my fees, and I wanted to help with the window shopping. It's easy. Now, if you were to move, where would you move to? And I'd let them answer. Wouldn't it make sense to get set up on a daily email alert so you don't miss out? And then they would normally say, yeah, of course that makes sense. And then I would get their basic criteria. Now, because this person didn't answer the phone, this is the email that I'm going to send them. It's basically going to be the same thing, but a little different. It says, hey, I noticed you have a home for sale on Craigslist. Is it still available? I actually wanted to see if I could help with the buying end. As a buyer, you don't pay the real estate fees, so it's no cost for you to work with an agent. I wanted to be proactive and see if you want to book any showings from the MLS for this week. Did any catch your eye? I can email you an updated list based on criteria. I'd love to talk. You can call, text, or email me anytime. And then I would have my name, my brokerage, my cell phone, my email, and my website, and whatever your local rules are. If you have to have your office phone number, if you have to have your real estate license, obviously put all of that in there. Now going back to Craigslist, so this is a pretty good opportunity. That person very well may need to buy a home. Now what I would do is you can see there's 383 of them. In the future, I ended up having so much of this to do, what I would have is a virtual assistant who would take this link, I would email him this link, him or her, this link up at the top after I did the search, and they would do the scrubbing for me. So they'd be like, nope, not a realtor, that one's a realtor, that one's not a realtor, and they would give me the direct link to each of the postings, and it made my job easier. That way I could be on the phone, like phone call in 1 hour time. I could call as many people instead of having to do the cleaning of the list. But if you're just getting started, obviously you got to get your own system in gear, and so you're going to be doing this. So let's take a look at another one. So I'll right click, open new tab. This one's a real estate agent, so skip that. And you're going to find a good percent of them are real estate agents. Another real estate agent. This one, oh yeah, it's totally a real estate agent. And this is how I could tell, is see how the first letter of every word is capitalized? They just copy and pasted directly from the MLS. But if you go forward, so this list of, how many we got, 380, there's probably a good couple hundred that are actually for sale by owners. So that's one approach, for sale by owners. The other approach would be the landlords. So let me pull off my list of landlords. So on Craigslist up at the top, I'm going to say housing. And then instead of for sale by owner, I'm going to say for rent. Apartments/housing for rent. And I'm going to remove the 100,000 mark because nobody's renting a place at 100,000 a month. Okay, so this one's $5,700 a month. This one's $3,000 a month, $3,100, $2,300. So like half a month's rent. These are all good commissions, in my opinion, if you're getting paid to build your database. So if these are landlords, though, what I would do is I would pull up a list of all the landlords, and then I would call them with this script. So I'd say, hey, I noticed you have a home for rent on Craigslist. Is it still available? And they'd usually say yeah. And I'd say, okay, great, I'm a real estate agent, and I realize you're already marketing your home for rent, but what if I could, what it, but would you be open to me bringing offers for sale? Have you ever considered selling? We can also help with the rental side too, if needed. And I would pause and let them answer. If they are keeping the home and not needing help, I would say, since this one's working out for you, have you ever considered getting another in the future? I have a list of investment property I could send you. Do you know anybody who's looking at investing in real estate? So I used it as a way to ask for a referral, essentially. But a lot of the landlords, a lot of them don't want to be landlords anymore. So a lot of them put the home on the market for rent, and once I got them on the phone and I'm talking about the prices have changed, do you want to know what the home is worth today? Um, they they don't have to sell if we don't bring them an offer that they don't like. So it just gives them a wider net, and we give them more opportunity and more options to look at. And a lot of the people, I mean, there's a lot of people where their family took over the property because maybe there was a death in the family and they were just following suit, but they don't want to be a landlord, and they would end up just selling the property. We would get so many listings taking this approach. So we would call the landlord, and if we had to, we would take the listing and help them rent it out. But our ultimate goal is to help them with selling it. And at the end of the day, it's whatever is a win-win for the client. And we would take the rental, we would take the listing, or we would settle for a referral or a thank you, no thanks. Now, okay, let me go back to Craigslist and I'll open this one up. Nice looking property. Oh, that's a real estate, so I don't want to call that one. This one looks like real estate because they're capitalized. Oh, we put it right at the top. Real estate agent. So again, you have to do your own cleaning of the list to make sure that these people aren't real estate agents. And if they are, I mean, who cares? You have a nice day. Whoops, I didn't mean to call you. Try another one. Oh, this one looks real. Oh, no, it's not. Real page. Okay, so there is, how many are there? 2,500 listings. I mean, there's going to be a good chance a lot of them are real estate, but even if it's like half the list are real landlords, that is a huge list of free opportunity. Here's the thing, with every landlord in your database, you have two properties, the one they live in and the one that they're renting out. So to me, it was a huge benefit to get landlords in our database. We would have a monthly email that went out every month on that month's hot properties, the foreclosures, fix and flip, duplex, triplex, income properties. I had a list every month that I would compile, and I would blast it out to all these investors. And it was a great drip. It was something that they enjoyed receiving. It was real estate related. The content was easy to create because it was just those current listings, and I would put together a list once a month, and that would be my email blast. Okay, so if the landlord answered the phone, that would have been the script I said. Oops, this would have been the script that I said. If they didn't answer the phone or they don't even provide their phone, I would email this. It says, hey, I noticed you have a home for rent on Craigslist. Is it still available? I'm a real estate agent, and I realize you're already marketing your home for rent, but would you be open to me bringing offers for sale? Have you ever considered selling? The prices have changed. If we don't bring you an offer you accept, you don't pay anything. It's like we cast a large net, and you get to pick what's best for you. We can also help with the rental side too if needed. I'd love to talk. You can call, text, or email me anytime, and then your basic email signature. So that one, awesome. The next one is me contacting the tenants who are looking to rent. So this is how I did 11 rentals in the first month, is I contacted the people who are looking to rent. So how do I find those people? On Craigslist, I would say, housing apartments wanted. And there's 202 people that are saying, so I'm looking for a 3-bedroom apartment, single, this person wants a room, wanted a cute condo, 2-bedroom, West End. So that's all good. Let me just put the price range of anything over 1200 and update. So I got it down to the 42 people who are looking at renting a property, and this guy wants one for 1300 or less, 1500 or less, 1400 or less. Well, this is such an easy conversation. Like, these people are moving. If they're looking at renting, it's usually a much quicker sale, or closing time, I should say. And so this is a script that I would call them with. So let me go to the script, and I would call up that tenant, and I say, hey, I noticed you posted on Craigslist looking to rent a home. Are you still looking? And they'd say, yeah. I'm a real estate agent, and we have a fresh list of rentals on the market you might have missed. Can I email you an updated list? Pause and let them answer. And I would get their criteria, so what price range, the area, the bedrooms, that sort of thing. And then I would finish off by saying, have you ever considered buying a home? We have options that you can own that carry for the same you are paying in rent. So that may not be true in your area, but in my area, if a person is willing to pay $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month, for sure this person can buy a home or a condo at least. So I can show them the options of homes for sale, and I would get them connected with my mortgage broker, and we sold on a monthly. People monthly would be converted from being a tenant to being a homeowner, and they didn't even know it was possible. We just had to get them in touch with a mortgage broker that could help them out and show them the possibility. I also connected with a local company. If you have any in your area that's like a rent-to-own company, you could get connected with one of them, as long as they're reputable and you trust them and they're a good company, because you don't want them tarnishing your reputation. But in our area, rent-to-owns actually do work, and it can be a win-win for everybody. And so I would use that as a backup plan. So me contacting the people who are posting. And here's the thing, over on the left, it has posted today as a checkbox. So if I check off posted today and hit update, that gave me the 3. So tomorrow when I create this list, I can just say posted today, and it'll show me all the ads that were posted that day. Now it's better to do that tick box later in the day as possible, because if you do it in the morning or mid-afternoon, you're going to miss all the people that posted around dinner time. So this might be a good idea for you to do as a nightly thing. You just click off posted today and check off and save all of the links so that you can call them the next day. And that's an easy way for you to stay on top of who did you call and who didn't you call. Now, if that person, the tenants, they very rarely give their phone number, so most of the time I would be sending them an email. So this is the email I would say. I'd say, I noticed you posted on Craigslist and looking to rent a home. Are you still looking? I'm a real estate agent, and we have a fresh list of rentals on the market you might have missed. Can I send you an updated list? The landlord pays my fees. The landlord pays my fees, not you, just reaching out to see if I can help. Also, have you ever considered buying a home? We have options that you can own that carry for the same you are paying in monthly rent. P.S. I have contacts in financing and rent to own if needed, and then all my contact info. So, I mean, when I walked in my very first month in the business, and at the end of the month I had 11 closings at half a month's rent, I was building my database, I was getting paid, I was happy. A lot of agents may not like that approach, so you can skip it, but I'm sure some of you are going to be like, yeah, that's awesome, totally want to do that. Perfect. So this session is actually a much shorter session than normally. We normally do an hour-long session, but that was it. I mean, there's nothing too fancy other than me going through Craigslist, and in my area, I would use Kijiji. That's a website that's Canadian only. In the States, you have Craigslist, and you have so many other classified websites. Your local newspaper, if you just Google search the name of your local newspaper and the word classifieds, you'll see a whole bunch of people, and there's a real estate section. there's for sale by owners in there. That local newspaper probably has a classified section online, which you can do the exact same thing we just did with Craigslist. So this approach, 28 deals in 1 year for free, and that was regular purchase and sale, plus not to mention all of the rental properties that I was doing. It was a really good start to my career, and it didn't cost me anything. So I hope out of today's session you got some ideas on how you can be a little more proactive, and you can actually still use classified advertising. So I'm going to stick around in case there's any questions, and if there are, you can chat them. And the rest of you guys are good to go. We'll get this recording up. It usually takes about 2 days, and when I do, I'll email you. When I email you, I'll email you the link to the recording. I'll email you the downloads for the scripts, and then I'll also email you the notification of when and what our next topic is about. So that'll be in about 2 weeks. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you. So I'm just going to hang out here in case there's somebody still wanting to ask questions or they're typing a long one. If you don't realize, you have a toolbar and you can unmute yourself. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you just want to talk verbally, or if you want to type it out. It's a chat feature, so it might be under more. Hey, you're awesome too. Thank you. And, okay, just in case, I'm always afraid some people are going to miss out. So let me scroll up to the top. Actually, I'll just make a new email. That is my email. This is my phone number. That's my name. So if you do have questions and you can't find the chat button and you don't know how to unmute yourself, don't be alone. You can always call, text, or email me anytime. Okay, guys? I want to hang up now. I thank you.
Hey, if you want to close more real estate transactions, get more buyer leads, and get more seller leads, click this button right here. It'll take you to our real estate group coaching page. Also, if you like this video and want more, you can subscribe by pressing this, or you can check out some of my past videos here. Enjoy!